There we go. Moderation helps everyone feel safe. Experience and your viewers. Choose who can participate. That must be for something special, but I don't know how to do that. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Got it. Welcome, everyone. The stream is up and running, and like usual, we're playing Dirk Hide this, hide that. Boom, 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 and close that. There we go. Playing Dark Souls BB. Where is that even from? I don't even know. I randomly just started saying that one day and it stuck. So now I constantly just go, baby. There. That is not a good start. It is already lagging a little bit. Alright. I will definitely be playing this game more times than just now. Like, I'll definitely be playing it again in the future. Especially after I get it set up where it's not a pain running, or it's not lagging. Oh, that is just awful. I'll have it set up to where when I play, it's a way better quality of game. I don't have a staff. You're not going to sell one, but just curious. Yep, I figured as much. Well, I know someone does sell it, so we're just going to try it. Here we go.
The dark
watches over you. Well, it's the only one available to me right now, but I still need a few levels before I can even use it. One level there, and probably, yeah, 4. Alright, now let's see here. I left off at the Gulch. Took on them. I'll go take on the skeleton lords. They're not that hard of a boss fight anyway, so. All right. Hello, person that joined. Welcome to the stream. Okay, I forgot about that. Oh. I don't like being on this side. Let me out. Oh, why was I on that? I don't like using the life gems. Crap. Drop down, run over here. Get to bonfire. There we go. Got it. Yeah, there's nothing I can do right now. Alright. I forgot I can push over this tree. There we go. Shortcut unlocked. Off to the Skeleton Lords. Let's see. Oh, come on. One bad thing after another. I'm poisoned and now I have to fight Forlorn. Keep fighting that guy. He's a real pain in the caboose. Hey buddy, leave me be. Oh, why is there so many guys after me? Leave me alone! I'm running back. I'm trying to... Looking away just for a few seconds already almost costs me life. Dude, you're supposed to get staggered by my hits. Why didn't you get staggered? Why am I the one getting staggered? No, I'm good. I'll just run for a second here. Why are your swings faster than mine? I don't like this. I'll get you with the old strafing around the bonfire. Dude, I hit you and I know I did. Why am I... What? Why is that not dual wielding? I'm dead. Okay. I had a topic in mind when starting this stream, and now I can't remember what it was. It was mythology based. I think it was Norse mythology. Yeah, because I'm doing hammer stuff. I was thinking of like stories of like Thor mainly, but like just cool Norse mythologies. Like the creation of his hammer is a funny thing. How Mjolnir came to be. It's kind of funny because like the whole story of it is like Loki being the trickster god of mischief, all that he is, ended up making the wrong person angry. So what he did is he went and started like bad mouthing like Brock and Sindri. He badmouthed them, he messed with them, ended up getting them real mad at him. So after that, he like Brock and Sindri wanted his head. So the gods made a deal. They're like, hey, if you can create these weapons better than these other dwarves, you can have his head. So they make this deal, and they were fully committed to like staying on the deal. Like they sat there and created the best weapons they could. I hate these dogs. Created the best things they could, and there was those two, and then the other two dwarves. I can't remember their name. They were also brothers, and the challenge was they would each create 3 artifacts. 1 for each person. 1 for God, or 1 for Odin, 1 for Thor, and 1 for I forget who it was at the time, but it was in the myth. She's known for having beautiful golden hair. And just previously, Loki had chopped off her hair. So she was mad at him too. So to make things right, they were tasked with making 3 items for each person. Well, Loki, being forced in this deal. It was the 2 brothers, opposite of Brock and Sindri, made some pretty good weapon, or some pretty good stuff. And it was and during the whole process of making these tools, Brock and Sindri were making some really good stuff, and Loki got scared, so he sabotaged them, got into their workshop, and started messing with them. At one point became a fly and was buzzing around them. It didn't bother them a little bit. He started flying at their eyes. Again, didn't make them budge. And finally, after everything else failed, he bit one of them on the eye, which then, for half a second, made him flinch. Made him lose concentration, and it ended up messing with the final creation. So he had, and it was during the making of Mjolnir. He had made the handle too short. So, in the end, he ended up getting what he wanted. He wanted to mess with them, and that's exactly what he did. He made it so the brothers ended up dissatisfied with their masterpieces. Well, when they presented their items, first it was the other brothers, and they presented Odin, I believe it was, they presented Freyr, I have to learn her name again, but they presented her with a boat that could be folded up and put in her pocket. They presented Odin with boars, I believe, and I don't remember what they gave Thor, and I could be getting the order wrong, but it was then for Brock and Sindri, they presented their items. For Freyr, they gave her golden hair that wouldn't be chopped off again. For Odin, they presented Gungnir, a spear that when thrown would always pierce its target and return back to him. And for Thor, they presented Mjolnir, which they immediately were like, "We're sorry, it didn't come out right. We meant for the handle to be longer so it could be a 2-handed hammer." But it actually worked out great for them because he only liked it better as a 1-handed hammer. So they ended up winning because their items were actually better than the other set of dwarves. And they couldn't exactly take Loki's head. So instead, what they did is they sewed his mouth shut and made it to where he could never speak again. And made it to where Loki could never get his way.
Who are you?
But at some point he ends up undoing that, so he's able to speak again.
You've set me free.
Loki is
Now
also
I can find him.
not Thor's brother, he's his uncle, because
I am
Odin and
mirror.
Loki made a
I travel from land to
like
land,
blood pact,
home
brotherly
all day.
bond type thing.
I've heard this land was full of a giant into the
So really he's more like
set a trap
Thor's
for me.
uncle.
I can't believe it was so dense.
Thor is not, as the MCU portrays him, he is not a blonde-haired, very fit man. He's a fat ginger drunk.
You be careful of him. There's this rather unusual ring. I've seen this type before.
Like,
He kills entirely.
kind of
for the
funny.
pleasure of it.
because in
I'm sure I
the
won't be
MCU
prospective.
they get like
Lands behind
some of it right.
Tell
Like
me,
they get Loki being a frost giant. I believe that's true.
don't let him fool you.
They get the part of him being related
Paint
to the family
the man
true.
with a strange ring. Watch out for the slimy
Why
man.
is
And
why
don't
is
you
my
believe
beard
a
dark?
word he says. I'll find the common for the bad and put an end to his roguery.
They didn't get the relationship true though. Why is what? Oh, sorry, dude. Didn't mean to hit you. Trying to figure out why my controller isn't working. There it goes. If then it was like got some things right, but Thor, not blonde-headed, like goes to the gym every day type of guy. He like in Endgame when Thor was like real fast. That's more of what Thor was, but ginger. Loki is a frost giant and is related to Thor, but as an uncle, not a brother. Odin is the father of Thor, and Thor is the god of thunder. His hammer is one-handed, and it does allow him to control his power better. But it isn't so much as a worthy thing. It's more of like it's based off like because the hammer itself is heavy, but then there's also like there's enchantments put on the hammer to make it even heavier. But from what I've read, it seems as though it's more of like a mental heaviness type thing. You have to be strong-willed to wield it. It also can't be wielded unless Thor grants you permission. So unless Thor kind of just says, yeah, you're good, I don't think you can pick up that hammer. But yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of weird how the hammer works because most of the time it's portrayed as being like a super heavy thing that only he can wield. and that's why it's so impressive that he can use it, because it's supposed to be a two-handed hammer, and he just runs around with it being one-handed. Then there's also the whole... Oh, come on. These things just can't hit down. More cool facts about, like, Norse mythology. Loki has, I think it's like 7 kids. 2 of which are pretty well known. Jormungandr, the World Serpent, is Loki's child, along with Fenrir, the giant god with like a blade through its mouth that Odin had trapped, because Fenrir was to bring on the end of him and Ragnarok. He also had a 6-legged horse. It was either 6 or 8-legged horse, but he had a child, and I think a few others, but I can't remember them. But Loki had a few kids, most of which were animals, weirdly enough. Oh, and all of these children were just extremely powerful. Jormungandr, for example. Jormungandr is so strong, the gods cannot take it down. There's been like this thing where people just assume Thor can take down Jormungandr by himself. That is not how that would go down. Because then there's a story about it. They all decided to fight Jormungandr. I don't remember why, but they were fighting Jormungandr. And during this fight, it was Jormungandr versus like every Aesir god. They were all like casting spells, hitting it with every strong attack they could think of, doing everything they could to this thing. And after a long battle, and like almost every god getting killed, I think they died. But they were pretty close because Jormungandr has poison that can harm gods pretty easily. So he, after this long battle, kind of just decides, you know what? I think I'm good. And just leaves. Kind of just allows them to live and kind of just goes off. They did not win that fight. They just like made him retreat a little bit. They made him retreat and they all almost lost their lives. So I think you can kind of decide who won that battle. So yeah, Jormungandr is an extremely strong child. There's Fenrir, who is to bring about Ragnarok and the end of Odin. So he's strong. There's the horse child that is pretty strong as well, I believe. I don't know every kid that he has, but I don't remember why I went back to Majula. But he had a few kids, all of them being extremely strong. And Odin did not want them about. But he could only deal with one. And they had to sacrifice Tyr's arm, the Norse god of war. If you've played God of War Ragnarok, you've met Tyr. There's so many. That time I hit him. No speaking type. Really? But Tyr is the Norse god of war, and to get Fenrir locked up, they had the sacrifices on. I'm not sure of like the reasoning behind it. I just know they did. Whether they had to or not, I'm not sure, but they did sacrifice it. They're like, Tyr, we need you to get rid of that armament. Okay. Narrow. Done. Get rid of you. Quickly. Crap. Let's see. Is there mythology facts that I know of? I don't know exactly. Because there was quite a few battles where it was like... There was like a bunch of random stuff that I remember. Like at one point, Thor, Loki, and another god all traveled to like the land of the giants, or like the area where giants were, and trespassed on their domain, and then ended up having to do these trials. One was racing, one was eating, and one was drinking. And then there was like there was one about lifting a cat and one about an old lady, I believe. I'm not entirely sure, but like the old lady was death. The cat, I believe, was Jormungandr. They had to drink out of this horn, which was the sea level, and the eating was against fire, and the racing was against wind, or no, shadow. You had to race against your own shadow. So it was something like that, and basically they put them against these impossible challenges, expecting them to lose horribly. But they did amazing against these challenges. With like the drinking, they gave that one up to Thor. He's a massive drinker. Well, he starts to drink all of the water, and when he looks in there, the water level didn't go down. So he tried again, and was just confused why nothing was happening. Turns out he drank a massive amount of the world's water. The race against, I think it was like their own shadow. But like, they had to lift, or they had to race against this guy. And when they did so, the guy was like faster than the dude that was racing. So they had like 3 shots, and each time the guy got faster, but so did his opponent, and he was confused as to why he was still losing this race. And it was because he was racing against like his shadow, I think the story was. One of them was like, you had to wrestle against this old lady and win. Thor took a stab at it, ended up losing, and it was because the old lady was death, and you can't win. they had to win in an eating competition against this guy. And no matter how hard Loki tried, he could not win. And that's because he was trying to out-eat fire, which consumed everything in its path. He almost beat fire. And lifting the cat, I believe it was like lifting Jormungandr. So when he tried lifting it, it would never like get its legs off the ground, no matter how hard he tried. So after they did these challenges over and over and over again, after like they took a few attempts and couldn't achieve anything, they were finally like, all right, we give up. We can't beat it. And the giants were just terrified at this point because they're like, do you even know what you just did? And they're like, no. And they're like, and then they explain the challenges. And they're like, that should not be possible. And after that point, they were kind of just terrified of them. At least I believe that's how the story goes. I'm gonna have to refresh my mind on like all of the mythology I know.
Is that here to see luck, however fit?
But it's all these stories are pretty cool to me. Like I got so use that boy. It's another Greek mythology story. Or not Greek, Norse, or just any mythology really. Yeah. Need more tight night chunks. And twinkling tight night.
I'll be around.
Alright.
Bearer of the curtain seek the king lesson.
What's the stat requirements on that bit? 15 and 18.
Seek lest this land swallow.
I can't really think of any more mythology things, but I do know quite a bit about anime as well. Like, what's it called? Like, I could talk about Demon Slayer, but that one's like a really well-known one now. So everyone knows just a lot about it. Like, if we're talking about speed, Uzui is the fastest.
Is that a show?
Strength-wise,
fainted.
Guillaume is the strongest. But there's a full-on ranking to all of this. Like, strength-wise, Shinobu is the weakest. Speed, I believe Guillaume is one of the slowest. I think it's like between him and I think it's between him and Giyu as the slowest. And I think Rengoku and Shinozagawa come in at like second and third place on the strength scale. Not respectively or anything. Because I believe Rengoku's number 3. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm trying to remember everything. Like, I I'm trying not to spoil things, because we're getting close to the end of the story, so I don't have to worry about it too much longer. But still not there yet, so I'll hold off on saying too much of that. Jujutsu Kaisen ended. The manga, anyway. I don't know about the story. I got one little problem with Jujutsu Kaisen, and that's power.
A Northstone trader.
Like, just like their power system is weird. It's confusing because, like, they all have their innate sorceries, like what they can and cannot do.
For instance,
that should be as far as it goes. It's like you get this power and that's
now
it.
Your ears prick up.
And
extras if you can pay.
That
This is
ends
my
up
trade
not
after
being
all.
just it, because it's like Itadori, he gets, well, I don't even know what his power is, but he gets his little, like, punching
interest.
powerness, and his makes sense because, like, the way that he came about, he has Choso's, like he's kind of like Choso's brother. So manipulation kind of makes sense, and so does, like, cleave and scissors and all that he gets from like cleave and dismember, which he gets from Sukuna, because Sukuna was in his body for a while. And he's also Sukuna's nephew. So those make sense. But what doesn't make sense is, like, the final battles between, like, Sukuna and everyone. Like, because obviously he's a smart guy. Like, he's very smart when it comes to fighting. He's one of the smartest when it comes to just straight fighting. But also, it makes no sense. Because, like, his binding vow was pretty smart, making it to where after he uses this binding vow, he can no longer use curse techniques. Or, like, he can no longer use the world-cutting slash without, like, the enchantments and all that. Or before it was just hand signs, but now he has to do an incantation along with hand signs. But he made the binding vow. It's like, hey, let me do it this one time with no hand gestures or anything. And then every other time after that, I have to do hand gestures, and I have to say the little incantation with it.
You've been well.
He made that when he was still in Megumi's body.
Here in search of rest. The
But then
place is
immediately
dead
after
still.
using world cutting slash, he
These
went to
sto-
his
some of-
body
some of
with
them are
4
none
arms
of
and
the
2 mouths.
Triangle.
So that was kind
It's
of smart of him.
I've searched, perhaps.
And I don't know how
I've searched,
accurate this next
perhaps.
part is, but I keep seeing
I've
these
searched, perhaps.
things of, like,
I suppose it's about.
anytime someone pulls out a curse technique or, like, a certain ability, Sukuna would be like, ah, yes, the blah blah technique. I haven't seen it since the Heian era, and he would pull out the exact counter to it, or he would just be able to stop it right then and there. Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me. Because, like, one, his power alone doesn't really make sense, because we don't know what his curse technique is, but he gets a bunch of things related to cutting and slashing, but also gets fire powers, but then also gets to, like, do all this other stuff, and it just gets more and more confusing over time. Like, maybe I'm just not understanding it, or maybe it just genuinely doesn't make sense. But being able to counter everything doesn't really seem fair. Having other abilities besides cutting also kind of seems weird, because like, why does he get to use fire? Like, and then there's also like Yuta, whose cursed ability just lets him copy other people's cursed abilities. I'm not saying that isn't like weird or like that's fair or anything like that, because that's also like why. But it does make a tiny, not even tiny bit of sense, but it makes more sense than Sukuna's, because like it's stated outright that his whole thing is copying. He can just copy almost any ability that he sees. So that, to an extent, makes sense. Sukuna, however, doesn't do any of that. He never once stated his curse technique. I still don't think it's stated. But like, it's just so weird to me that he gets all these cool abilities and can just like do all this stuff and just magically make it make sense. I think I'm missing something, but that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Also, binding vows are confusing, according to like people. I don't know much about them myself, so I can't really speak on that subject, but apparently binding vows are like even more confusing than any of that. Of course, that's not the only anime that have things that don't make sense. Demon Slayer has it, and I'm just talking about Inosuke here. But like, because it's Inosuke, we don't even question it. Because he's just like, oh yeah, I grew up in the mountains, so poison doesn't affect me. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And he was like, oh yeah, well I'm the mountain god, so I can move my organs around at will. We don't even bat an eye to that. We kind of just go, oh yeah, that makes total sense. Mountain God can do anything. The poison one does make sense. Like, growing up in a mountain, you're gonna end up being exposed to a lot of poisonous stuff. So your body could build up an immunity to it. It's the same kind of logic behind Uzuki's being immune to it, because he grew up as a shinobi. He was exposed to a lot of poisonous stuff, so he grew an immunity to it. So Inosuke has a bit of reasoning behind that. That's why it would work. But his reasoning behind being able to move his organs doesn't exist. He just goes, well, I'm Inosuke, so I can do that. And it's like, alright. It's like, good enough for me. I fully accept this knowledge. I was hoping for Twinkling Tight Night. Inosuke is like my favorite character in that show, so I'm not even saying that to like badmouth him. I'm just saying, kinda doesn't make sense. It's hilarious though. going, Nosuke? I'm kind of confused as to why Zenitsu can fight in his sleep too, since I brought up Demon Slayer anyway. How does that work? Because like, dude cannot. I understand like the talking part, and like people walk in their sleep, so that makes sense. How does one fight in their sleep? That's the part that doesn't really make sense. It's just like, how? Thank you. Can I hit you? Twinkling. Dang it. I don't need any. But yeah, that doesn't make sense. Of course, it's anime, so a lot of things aren't going to make sense, and trying to apply real world logic to it just isn't beneficial. Oh, come on. I would like Twinkling Titanite, please. Or Titanite chunks. Nope, nope. Come on, I was right there. That's so dumb. Where in what? I can't even see where I'm going. Oh, there's an area there. I'm just gonna die again. My brain isn't working. I can't even think of like cool topics to talk about. Normally, I got someone. I got like Cure in chat, and he gives me a bunch of topics to talk about. Oh, come on, dude. How does one exit? I currently don't have any fun facts at the moment about I don't have any fun facts about animes or this game. This game's lore is just confusing. Well, every Dark Souls lore, every Dark game's lore is confusing in its own right. But okay. Oh, I know a cool little anime fun fact. Fire Force is the prequel to Soul Eater. And that is like completely weird. Also, we're the prequel to Fire Force. It's a funny little thing, but like full on. In the manga, well, I guess in the anime now too, I think they got to that point. If you watch it, you'll see that in one of the episodes, or in one of the books, as they're praise the sun, as they're going through, like, I'm just gonna join this one because I like it. As they're doing like all this stuff, he ends up like going through, or like, time, and as he's doing it, they show that us are the prequel, and then everything gets like two-dimensional for some reason. Everything turns into Fire Force. I don't remember the reasoning behind it, but Fire Force is also the prequel to Soul Eater, because in the story, and spoiler warnings ahead, major spoiler warnings, this is pretty big. In the future of Fire Force, Shinra unlocks a form called Shinra Banchaman. And in this form, he is the strongest person. What's funny about that is, like, this form makes him basically a god. Like, he can do whatever he wants to. And in this form, when he unlocks it, he makes a comment of, I think I'm now able to take on Benny Morrow. So after unlocking the form that basically makes him a god, his first thought was like, hey, I can finally take on this captain. And it's like, dude, you can reshape the world and you now think you can take on this guy? So it kind of puts into perspective just how strong Benny Morrow is. But like, he unlocks this form, and I think the reason why he unlocked this, because like as everything is going on, he ends up losing all of his friends. So he's fighting these really powerful people, and they just kill everyone. I'm pretty sure like most of the planet is dead at this point. And Shinra unlocks Shinra Banchaman and uses this power to bring everyone back to life. Brings back everyone, reshapes the universe, and in this moment, as he's remaking everything, he's remaking the sun and moon. And as he's doing this, it changes it to where the sun and moon have a smile on their face. So it's kind of funny that it's the prequel. He also made it to where everyone gets powers, because in his world, his sergeant, they didn't have any powers, but he was still like one of the strongest people he knew, and he thought his sergeant deserved powers. So in this new world he created, he made it to where anyone can be strong, as long as they're willing to put in the work. And when he did this, it made his captain, Obi, I believe his name was, one of the strongest people around, besides him. He made it to where his captain's efforts could finally be put to good use. And that's how Fire Force, or that's how like Soul Eater got created. And then he also created Death. So that's, oh, I didn't even notice that person on the ground. Like, he created Death and became like the god of their world. I think he also created the Kijin. Maybe. I'm not sure about that one. Someone created Kijin. I don't remember how that went down. Come on. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like full on, just like the prequel to Soul Eater. I don't know any other animes like that though, where it's like two animes are connected to one another. I think that's the only one I really knew of. Besides, because I know a lot of the manga, or not manga, but I know a lot of like the webtoons and stuff that I read have connections like that. There's like a whole name for them, and it's like just like a bunch of different ones connected to one another, and they're all in the same world. Like Lookism, Viral Hit, My Daily Life as a Loser, and like a bunch of stuff like that are all connected to one another. And Lookism, it makes it pretty obvious like those two are like that and Viral Hit are connected. Because in one of the episodes after Daniel Park gets into like streaming and all that, he gets to go to the big old like expo thing, and while there, Viral Hook is just walking around. I also forgot that Batman rolled second. I think that's more embarrassing than losing to the rats. I didn't think anything would be more embarrassing than losing to like the rats. Nope, there's one other one. Losing to the Covenant Demon. Just pop a FG real fast. And there's a summon sign. Who is you? The Queen. Nah, I'm good. Oh, come on. That is just dumb. I hate getting poisoned in this game. It is so stupid. Oh, come on, dude. Let's see. A lot of cool stuff has been happening in my Percy Jackson book. A while back, I had actually watched both of the two movies that were out. Like Percy Jackson series. Do I remember them? Not really, but I remember bits and pieces. What I didn't know about was like all the stuff that wasn't in the movies. Like, Tyson was in the movies, but I don't think he was called Tyson. Because in the books, there's a random guy. His name's Tyson, and he just is best friends with Percy. Ends up, like, just going to camp with Percy and all of that. Oh, come on, dude. Can I cut off your tail? Does your tail come off? Shut up. Dude knocked his own food down. and roll again. Yep. Yeah, go after your food, dude. Oh, come on. There we go. Ain't embarrassing myself again. Although once wasn't enough. Like, one time already gave me quite a bit of embarrassment. How did you get up there? Did you just like run and jump it? But yeah, there was a giant in the movie, and he was a son of Poseidon. But what I don't know is if he was the son, or if he was named Tyson. Then there was also like Luke, who gave Percy the magical shoes, and then became an asshole. Which I knew about that. But I don't think they, like, because at the end of, like, the first movie, they showed, like, Percy and Luke fighting one another. But it was, like, Luke came down from the sky wearing his flying shoes, and Percy used, like, rainwater and drowned him or something like that. I don't remember. That's all I can picture when I try thinking about Luke and Percy. But what actually went down is Percy went back to camp after all that just happened. He went back to camp and ended up he went back to camp, was trying to decide whether he would leave or stay at camp for the year round. He decided to go back home, but before he did, he went out to try fighting against. He would go out and fight against the dummies to practice his skills while he tried to like fully decide. While doing this, Luke shows up and he's like, "Hey, bud, you having trouble?" And he was like, "Yeah, just a little bit. I can't figure out what I want to do." And Luke's like, "Oh, well, here, let's go on a little stroll, see what monsters we can hunt down in the woods." And Percy was like, "Oh, okay, let's go do that." So they go out into the woods and they try and find stuff to go fight. Well, not long after going out into the woods, Percy and Luke are talking. They're like, "Yeah, I thought I'd feel so much better after taking on this quest. Like maybe things would start making sense, blah blah blah." But they don't, and it kind of just feels the same. And after a while, Luke was like, "Yeah, I know. I feel the same way. And it's the God's fault," and like all that. And finally, Percy's like, "You're the lightning thief." And I was like, "Yeah, it took you long enough." And he's like, they are like arguing back and forth, like, "Dude, you can't do this." And he's like, "You can't trust the gods. What have they done for us besides ignore us and then send us on missions to benefit them?" And all of that, like, dude, what are you? Just because you can't trust the gods doesn't mean you should resurrect Kronos. And then after a while, after all of the arguing, Percy was like, "I'll stop you," and Luke's like, no, you won't," and then summons in a hell scorpion. And he's like, "You can try and stop me if you want, but if you even get grazed by this thing, you'll die within 30 seconds. Then Tyson disappears, or not Tyson, then Luke disappears, and Percy proceeds to smack the scorpion away and kill it with Riptide. But he got stung in the process. Luckily, because he's the son of one of the big three, it takes a lot longer for the poison to kill him. So he was good. Barely. Like, he just barely got saved by Chiron. And I don't remember any of that in the movie. As far as my memory goes, they didn't do that. Tyson was in it, but not named Tyson. Well, maybe named Tyson, but he didn't show up the same way. Because Tyson's a Cyclops, but he's a young Cyclops, so he's not all there. He's still like a really young kid mentally. So he speaks like slowly, and he's like barely put together sentences and all that. Light the bonfire. And all that. I remember him being able to speak very clearly. The way he spoke, not that of a child. I also, it's very blurry in my memory when it comes to the second movie. I remember it being I don't remember Clarice tagging, or I don't remember Clarice saving them from Hydra. I don't remember her taking them in. I also don't remember Percy, Annabeth, and Tyson all going out to I don't remember him running into Hermes on the beach. Hermes giving him a flask and the multivitamins. Then him summoning Hippocampi for all of them to ride on. I don't remember them getting on the Andromeda ship. Or any of that, really. I feel like that'd be kind of hard to forget. Escaping the ship with a lifeboat and using the flask of the four winds to sail them across the sea to try and get to Florida. Why did all of you just appear suddenly? What? What else? There was... You're gonna be an idiot, aren't you? Why? Let's see. I don't remember them running into Cersei and Percy getting turned into a guinea pig and then being freed by Annabeth. with the multivitamins. I don't remember Clarice using her ship of the dead to go and fight Charybdis. And I don't remember the ship exploding, killing Tyson. That one is then like Tyson getting exploded somehow. Speaking of that, I don't even remember the chariot races. Or Hephaestus' cabin teaching Tyson how to, like, meddle. Because it was, like, really cool because, like, Hephaestus used, or, like, Cyclops to run the forges of Olympus. So they become immune to fire. So, Hephaestus' cabin used, or, like, taught Tyson how to use a forge and all that. And I'll just explain, or like I'll just talk about the book instead of saying what I do and do not remember, because I think it'll be interesting to hear about it instead of just like, oh yeah, I don't remember this and I don't remember that. Like, I remember, or where should I start? I'll start at like interesting part, or at least where I remember leaving off at. Where I remember leaving off is they make it to camp, and that's about it. They make it to camp, and Tyson ends up like absolutely demolishing the Bronze Bulls. Because they get to camp, and Tyson is like not able to enter the camp, and Percy, hey, stay here. It's too dangerous. I'll go up there and fight them. And he was like, alright. Because he doesn't want to disobey Percy. I'm not going to be able to burn this thing, am I? And he was like, alright, I can't really disobey you. So he runs up the side of the hill to go and get... I got the rollable stuff. He ran upside the hill to go help Clarice because she was fighting the bull all by itself and was losing the fight. Why did y'all run down? Well, Clarice was about to get run over by the bull, so Percy runs up, grabs her out of the way, slices at the boar. The boar gets mad at him, charges him. He ends up twisting his ankle with that pass maneuver, so he can no longer away. So he just takes a swipe directly at the bull, missing all of like the vital spots, but ends up taking like a decent chunk out of its nose. Which just makes the bull even more mad. I keep wanting to call it bull or boar. But it takes a swipe at it, makes it even more angry. I think it would be dead. There we go, beat him. That took a minute. Takes a swipe at it, ends up slicing off part of its nose. It backs off for a minute, getting ready to charge it, or like getting ready to charge again. But Percy knew he couldn't have like gotten out of the way of this one. And before it reached Percy, Annabeth allowed Tyson to run in there and was like, "Hey, go." he's about to die. So Tyson charges in there and like starts punching. That's supposed to stop. Starts punching the giant bronze bull like nothing but bare hands. Or before that, he gets engulfed in a pillar of fire. Percy's scared that Tyson just got killed, and then a few seconds later, Percy realizes that Tyson is completely unscathed. So, the bull runs at Tyson, and Tyson proceeds to stop him with his bare hands and screams out, "Bad cow," and punches it directly in the head, squashing its face. With that punch, it squished its face, but it wasn't enough. So Tyson proceeds to draw back again and punch it a second time, completely destroying its face. He then like helps Percy up. He's like, "Hey, sorry I disobeyed, but you're safe." And Percy was like, "It's fine, you saved me, you don't have to worry about it." He's dead. But he's like, "Hey, it's fine, you don't have to worry about it." And then Tyson like helps him all the way down to camp, and at camp he like Percy immediately gets in trouble because like there's a new guy. They fired Chiron because the tree, or Talia, who was turned into a tree, her tree got poisoned, and because she's the daughter of Zeus, it's a big deal, and they can't find the culprit, so they blame Chiron, and he gets fired on the spot. Well, he gets fired and gets replaced by a new guy. His name is Tantalus, something like that. I can tell that there's nothing right with this dude. The way he speaks, the way he acts, the way he just doesn't care. Down the bulls and gives all the credit to Clarice, even though she would have died without Percy. Percy was mad at that, actually, because Clarice did not take down the bulls. She took down the second one, barely. But she struggled against the first, and definitely would have died if Percy didn't step up there. But Tantalus shows up and he's like, "Alright, Percy, bad. You're a troublemaker, blah, blah, blah." And then basically gets mad at him for bringing Tyson into camp because no one likes Cyclopses. But one, he doesn't know about the whole like everyone hates Cyclopses thing. It's just his friend who just protected him and saved his life. So that's all he cares about. But no one else seems to care. He tried explaining that to them, but Tantalus did not want to listen to any of it. So he said, "Listen, I don't care. Go back to your seat." So he started walking back and tried pulling Tyson along with him. Tantalus goes, "No, Tyson stays here. You can go back to your seat. We don't know what to do with him yet." That thing. And he was about to argue, but he didn't think it would be right for him to argue against the new, camp counselor or whatever. So he went back to his seat and was like, dude, I'll be right over there. Trust me. Just do what he says. And so that's what Tyson does. He stands there awkwardly while everyone's trying to decide what to do with him. Well, about like a minute later, after all this started, a little symbol appears above his head, and everyone is shocked because he's the son of Poseidon as well. And immediately, Percy was like, dude, he was like, Dad, I feel like you're doing this just to embarrass me. Because he didn't know how to feel. Because up until this point, he was best friends with Tyson, had zero problems with him. But as soon as he found out they were related, he didn't see it the same way. He was embarrassed. Tyson was ecstatic that they were related. Percy, on the other hand, not much. He still cared for the guy, but he felt like his dad was doing it to play a trick on him. And after all that, Tantalus made an announcement. He was like, hey, so a while back, due to safety reasons, we had to cancel the chariot rides, or like the chariot races. But bringing them back, because he just doesn't care. He was like, you know how they were canceled? Yeah, not anymore. I'm bringing them back, baby. And without a single hint of hesitation, announces them. Oh, come on, dude. Ooh. Show me what you got, Medusa. Or Mitha. I don't know what your name is. Show me what you got, knock off Medusa. Medusa from Wish. Aw, dang it. Alright, that's what I get. That's what I get for talking. Potion. Attack. I knew it. And almost one more head. Dead. That was way too easy. Oh, wait, did I just first try that? Oh, look at you over there. You thought you could stop me. I don't even remember what I was. Anyway. They announced the chariot racing, and everyone was, like, sad at first, but then he mentioned something about getting, like, gold rewards, and then everyone was like, woo! So they were all excited, and was like, we can't wait for the chariot races. So it was each house pitted against each other, like Ares, Hermes, Athena, Poseidon, all of them. All the houses pitted against one another. And they all had to build their own chariots. And everyone had their own, like, design for it. But they had like a week to prepare for this, and in that week, Hephaestus's cabin like was like, "Hey, Tyson, come here,"
Seek the
and then taught him how to metalsmith or blacksmith. But they taught him the art of smithing, and because he's a Cyclops and he's good with like fire and metal and all that, he picked it up fairly quickly. And helped Percy build their chariot. He put like cool little metal siding around it, and every night he had this little thing that he would be tinkering with that he wouldn't show Percy. And yeah, now I don't even know what to bump stats into. I'm gonna do that just for a little bit more endurance and whatnot. The guy that was like kind of guiding me through the game earlier is no longer in chat, so I don't know what to do anymore. So I'm gonna run it like this. Why did it not explode? If you want things done right, you gotta do them yourself. Maybe. I don't even know if that's gonna hit. Nope. It broke the barrel, though. There it goes. Why are you still alive? There we go. That's all the dogs taken care of now. But Percy and Tyson ended up building their little thing together, their little chariot. And because Percy's the son of Poseidon, he can speak to horses. Tyson, however, being half Cyclops, ended up like scaring the horses whenever he would be near them. Percy had to do a lot of bribing and talking to the horses to get them to let Tyson ride on the chariot with him. Of course, he never told Tyson about any of that. Oh, come on. There it is. How many do I have now? Actually, I can go buy more. But they were riding on their chariots, and before this all like went down, Percy couldn't help but notice the giant amount of birds that are just nearby. Like, because there was just like this massive amount of these weird metallic birds. They're like weird bronze birds. And he noticed them and he was like, why are they here? And no one else paid any attention to him. So they just continued on, rode around, not paying any mind to the birds. And about like halfway through this race, the birds started to attack. Scratching, pecking, pulling, all that kinds of stuff just started to attack everyone. And everyone else noticed these, like, birds. Percy noticed them, Annabeth noticed them, every other cabin, even like Apollo's cabin, noticed these birds. Ares' cabin didn't care. They ignored said birds and continued writing. So they ignored the birds. Percy proceeded to stop and turn around to go fight the birds, to go and help whoever he could, because those things were real mean birds. He pulled around and I think he told Tyson, like, hey, go help who you can. And Tyson was like, all right. But then he turns around and, like, grabs Annabeth and goes, hey, what do I do? And she was like, well, in the legends, they are, like, real sensitive to loud noises. Or, like, real obnoxious noises. And the very first thought was Chiron's music, because his music taste is apparently awful. So that's what they do. They go and they get his music. They run into his house, grab his record player, grab his... Oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. They grab his record player, they grab one of his discs, or not, one of his records, and they start, or no, it was a boombox. But they grab his boombox and his music and start playing it, and it works. It full on scares off the birds. And as they're flying off, the Apollo cabin aims their bows at the birds and starts taking them down one at a time. Or not one at a time, but like they started taking them down slowly but surely until just a few of them remained. But then the race ended. Ares' cabin was dubbed the winners, and Tantalus blamed Percy's like driving capabilities, because he was like, well, the birds only attack because you suck at driving a chariot, because he just did not care. And that alone proves that he is up to something. Camp under attack, and the only thing he cares about is blaming Percy for everything. Like, what? That is not how that works. But yeah. Yeah. After that, he and Annabeth and Tyson all get put on dishwashing duty for causing such a disturbance. And after their thing was up and they were no longer needed for cleaning, they came up with a plan to go on this mission, because after everything went down, they came up with a plan. They're like, hey. And Percy was like talking about these dreams that he kept having of Grover speaking to him. And he was like, hey, I know how we can fix everything, but I need your help. And Annabeth was like, alright, fine. What do you need? It was like, alright, so Grover's in trouble. And he's with Polyphemus. And the reason why no satyr has ever completed the journey to go find Pan is because he has the Golden Fleece, which emits nature energy on par with Pan. And so she was like, that makes sense, but I'm not sure if this is something that we should be doing. It didn't take very much convincing, but they were like, all right, we're going to do it during the next campfire. So that way everyone hears it and there's no way that he could say no. Well, they were right. They brought it up and they're like, hey, we have this plan. And they explain everything, and everyone hears it, and they start chanting. They're like, yeah, let them go. Give them the quest. All that kind of stuff. And he was like, fine. You want a quest? I'll give you the quest. And he tells Clarice to go on this quest. And Percy was like, no, that... What? No, I'm the one that knows where this stuff is. I know the location. I know all of this. I should be the one to go on it. And Tantalus was like, no, I picked Clarice. She's the one thing. You've already had a mission. And again, it's like, dude, what is your problem with Percy?
Speak up if you need.
She's then sent off to go talk to the Oracle. It's like, go talk to her and see what the Oracle says.
These, you know how they, well, what was it? Since each, maybe that.
And she didn't want to because now she felt like all she was doing was just becoming a pawn for Tantalus. But she could not disobey him, so off she goes to talk to the Oracle. She gets there and is like speaking to it, and it's like, and then it goes back to like Percy and all that.
We can all do.
What did you just give me?
It's as if no interest.
Alright, I think that's enough to where she starts selling twinkling titanite chunks.
You've been well.
Come on. Oh, why not? Come on, give me what I want, lady.
Visit me again.
I bought everything you own. Now give me the items I require.
Well, these stones may look all the same. Some of, none of. You know how they called it? Well, what?
If I just spam her dialogue, maybe she'll give me the stones that I need. Alright, now I know that's the same dialogue. What do you mean, mind my manners?
Bearer of the curse, seek souls. Lest this.
But she goes off and talks to the Oracle, and doesn't really say, why are you not giving me the items I need? Do I have to like travel back here or something? Anyway, Tyson, after all this goes down, Percy is just annoyed.
You've been long away. What would you like? Well, I've only one.
Come on.
No.
I know she sells them. Why is she not doing it? Not fine. Level up. I'm putting these points into like intelligence and faith because those are apparently ones I need. There. I just realized I never did go to that other spot I'm supposed to go to. I don't care. Anyway, Percy goes to his cabin that night, tries to fall asleep but can't. Tyson tries talking to him and is like, hey, are you worried? Blah, blah, blah. And like, while having this conversation, I'm pretty sure he mentioned something like, are you embarrassed of me? And Percy's like, no, I'm not. It's just, when I found out that you're my brother, I thought the only thought going through my head was my father's playing a joke on me. Which is like, how could you say that to your brother? Half-brother as he may be. Oh, and he definitely stresses that point. Like, they're half-brothers, not full relatives. But he just goes on and on. He's like, oh yeah, he's only my half-brother, so there's that. It's like, dude, stop being mean. Well, he and Tyson are talking for a little while. Eventually, Tyson falls asleep, but Percy still can't sleep no matter how hard he tries. So, he grabs a thing of Coke, like Coca-Cola, from under his bed, which is not allowed in the camp. Anything from outside cannot be brought inside. But if you pay the Hermes kid enough money, he can get you anything you want. So he took them and went down to the beach to stare at the sky, watch the stars and all that, and then just drink Coca-Cola. Well, during his little sightseeing of little trip, a dude in jogger outfit runs up and starts talking to him, and he's like, hey, mind if I join you? And Percy's real skeptical, and he's like, I don't trust this guy, but sure. So the guy sits down, and he's like, mind if I have one of these? And Percy's like, sure, you can have one, and gives him one of his Coca-Colas.
Bearer of the seek souls, seek the king.
Percy's sitting there, and he's like, alright, so how is he in here? The barrier makes it where humans can't get in. And he was like, well, the barrier is weakening, so maybe that allowed him in. But I'm still not sure.
You see that blacksmith? Is he one of those hollows? He sort of looks like my father. He's a black, but no interest.
But
I've given you up.
he was like, maybe it's because like the barrier weakened. Maybe that's how he got it. He stopped questioning it very shortly after, and then is like, very quickly just moving topics. And they start talking, and the guy then asks, like, so what do you plan on doing? Or actually, I think before that he gets a phone call. And he takes his phone call, and whenever he does, two little snakes start like going around his little phone. And Percy notices and is just like confused. Then he starts questioning him. He's like, so who are you? Why are there snakes on your phone? And he was like, well, I'm pretty sure you already know that one. He was like, you're Hermes. And he was like, yep, you are a smart kid. And he summons out his little phone again, turns it into his staff that I can't remember the name of, and the snakes go back to full grown. After doing this, he's like, all right, well, let's talk. What do you plan? Like, what's your plan? And Percy's like, I don't know. It's like, you plan on sneaking out, running? He's like, well, probably. And he was like, allow me to give you some assistance. And his form of assistance is giving him 2 magic items. And he was like, I got 2 gifts for you. And Percy's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. And he pulls out the first one. It's a flask. It's a Hercules flask, I believe. I don't know. That's something to do with Hercules, one of the 2 items. But he pulls out this flask and he's like, here. And Percy holds it. One side, each side has a rune. One that's hot and one that's cold. He takes it and spins it around and realizes that the one that's warm always points north. And he's like, oh, it's a compass. And Hermes kind of just looks at him and starts laughing. He's like, wow, you are clever. That's not what it is exactly. And he's like, that's not how I intended to use it, but it's a pretty smart idea. What it was is it was a flask of all 4 winds. North, south, east, and west. So, it was very accurate with this whole compass thing. But it was like, you got the 4 winds, and it was like, make sure that when you use this thing, you very lightly open it. If you open it too far and all winds collide, then there's no telling what's gonna happen. They don't like it. And so he was like, alright. And Hermes then pulls out the second gift. And it's a thing of multivitamins. And he was like, these will help you as well. It would help him with like a bunch of different things. Anything that just required it. So he's like, alright, but why are you helping me? And then Hermes goes silent for a minute, and he's like, it's about Luke, isn't it? And he kind of just stares at Percy for a second. He's like, if this is so I can help Luke, then you can just have these back. There is no saving him. And he kind of just looks at Hermes, kind of just looks at Percy, and he goes, when it comes to family, you can't really just give up. And he meant something by that when he said it to Percy. He was like, when it comes to family, you can never give up on them. Percy didn't really know what he meant by it. So he kind of thinks about it for a second, and he's like, you better make up your mind soon about whether you're going or not. And he was like, why? And he was like, because you got about 5 minutes before the harpies come in. You got about 5 minutes before they come in, and you got about you got about 1 minute before your friends come in. And he already had 3 duffel bags packed that were waterproof. He was like, you better make up your mind fast, because your friends are coming and the harpies are coming. And he was like, plus you gotta ride the catch. And he points out to the ocean, and there's a boat there. He was like, how am I supposed to get there? And he was like, your dad should know. Or like, maybe you can always ask your dad for help. And then he takes off. Then Tyson and... Oh, I got 4. Tyson and Annabeth roll up, and they're like, hey, what's going on? Oh, it's nothing. Everything's A-okay.
I'll be around.
But we gotta go. And they were like, okay, but how are we gonna get over there? And it was like, well, Hermes did say something about asking my dad for help, so we're gonna try. And he stands at the water and he starts like saying like, hey, Dad, I need some assistance here if you could. And they kind of just stood there waiting, and nothing happened at first. Then a little later, some hippocampi show up, and they're like, there was a few of them, and they all just showed up, and it was like, oh, that's cool. Let's go. And Poseidon must have knew that Tyson was tagging along because he made sure to grab an extra chunky one for Tyson. Hi, Mom. Mom, you joined in close to when I'm about to end stream. Great, that means I can go eat food now. That means burgers! Oh, that means I get burgers! Yeah, I'll end stream here for today. Food's done, so that means goodness. Thank you for joining today's stream. Well, thank you for watching the video because it's going to be posted afterwards. So anyone who watches this afterwards, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please join me again next time, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.